Ahoy there, I'm David Thiede out of Division 014, TAC 25, New London, Connecticut. Today I'd like to talk about some tips on how to inspect your surface ops PPE. I'll be going on the website, D1SR, and showing you where you can get all the information you need.
Once you're on the D1SR website, you'll come over to the left column. You'll see Members Only. Also on the left column, you'll scroll down to Programs. And under Programs, you'll scroll down to see Surface Operations. And you'll get your logon requirement. Once you log on, you'll be at the First Southern Surface Operations page. Below that, you'll see Restricted Documents and Surface PPE Maintenance Procedure Cards. That's the tab we want. The first card we'll be using is Survival Vest Inspections, KB0048.0.
A great page to look at is 6. It shows you exactly where all your equipment lives in your survival vest. So this is my survival vest. Inspection is relatively easy. First thing you're going to look for is holes in your mesh, things like that. And then just general going over all your seams. So that would be where your vest comes together. Checking all these seams inside and out. You're going to be checking where the web attaches to the vest. You'll also be checking your clasp, going over it, make sure there's no cracks in the plastic, your webbing's not frayed. Checking the stitching on where it attaches. After that, you're going to be looking for reflection tape. Make sure it's stitched on well, it's not curling. On the front, you have reflective tape. Make sure it's stitched on well and not curling. And also make sure your Velcro patch is stitched on correctly and not curling. This is important because you'll be attaching pieces of gear to this if you are actually in the water. Last thing to do is check the zipper. All your clasps, check them for wear, check them for cracks. And check the stitching in your zipper, both sides. An easy thing to forget is your upper right pocket. You should have a locally generated serial number stenciled underneath the flap. So this vest checks out and it's good for another season.
The next card we'll be using is for Personal Flotation Devices, PFDs. That is KB0065.0. This card is 9 pages long, and it'll go through all the information you need to know to inspect your PFD.
This is my personal PFD, and I like the old style full vest. I know some people like the half mesh coverings, but I find that the extra flotation is too bulky, especially after you put your survival vest on. So to inspect it, you're going to look for any major damage. Then you're going to go over seams, check your seams inside and out. check where your webbing connects to your PFD, and also check the clasp, make sure there's no cracks. Come around to the other side, inspect your webbing, inspect your clasps, and any other seams you find on it. We're looking at the reflective tape. Make sure it's not peeled. In the back, make sure your reflective tape is on. And check your zipper. Check the seam in the zipper, both sides. Check your zipper itself for any tears or cracks. Check both sides of your seams. Make sure they're great. The last thing to check is your upper right pocket. You should have a locally generated serial number stenciled underneath the flap. So that's it for your PFD. This is a good unit, serviceable for the next season.
The last card we'll be using is equipment inspections. That is KB 0107.0. And this card will cover the inspection of all your gear that lives in your vest.
It'll be easier for me to show you how I inspect my gear with my vest on, so that's what I'll do. The first item to inspect is your signal whistle. That lives in your lower right-hand pocket. And while you're checking your equipment, check your lanyard for frays. Check your knots both on the item, and that attaches to your gear, your vest. For your whistle, check the seams, make sure there's no separations, and then test it out. It might be a little bit loud. Very nice, good unit. The second item on the list is to inspect your strobe light. There are two types. There is one that flashes, and there is a constant on. This is an example of a constant on light. We don't use these in our district, but a lot of people do carry these as spares. If you do have this as part of your gear, you'll inspect it as you would how we're going to inspect the flasher. Strobe light lives upper right vest pocket. You're going to check your lanyard, you're going to check your knots. You're going to look overall at the seams, make sure there's no cracks or seam separation. You're going to check your Velcro, very important, because that's going to stick onto your vest. And most importantly, every season, make sure you use the approved fresh batteries. And there you have it, functioning system. Clips nice to your Velcro. The next item we're going to inspect is our PLB. That lives in our lower left pocket. There are several different types, so please check your manufacturer's suggestions on how to test each different one. But the main thing we're going to look over again is going to check your lanyards, check your knots, right? Check overall condition, make sure there's no cracks, and On this one, this is a Fast Find 220, right? This is the test button right here. Some of these you really have to press hard, and you almost have to get a pencil with an eraser to push in on it. I've already tested this month, so I'm not going to test it again. But when you do, it tells you how many lights light up and what that means. And these should be tested every month of your underway season. The next item in the list is to service your pyrotechnics. We don't carry any in our division, so we're going to skip that. Go to the next item, which is inspect your signal mirror. Signal mirror also lives upper right pocket. I like to keep mine in a plastic baggie just to protect it a little bit. You're going to check the lanyard, you're going to check the knots on both ends. You're going to look for seam separation of the plastic. You're going to look for deep scratches. If everything looks good, you should be able to, here you go. Very easy to inspect. The last item to inspect is the survival knife. That lives in its own pocket, left side of your vest. First off, make sure your sheath is directly attached to your vest. Should not be loose. You're going to check your knots that attach to your vest. You're going to check your lanyard. You're going to check the knots that attach your lanyard to your knife. You're going to look for seam separations. You're going to look for deep gouges or pivots or rust. In the card it says to wipe your knife down with WD-40. I prefer to spray a little WD-40 on the towel. And wipe down the knife that way. And that's it for the Surface Ops PPE Familiarization video. I hope you found it informative and gleaned a few tips out of it. And remember, be safe out there. Fair winds and following seas.